And we thank you for joining us today here on Most Buffalo. I'm Kate Welshover. We're going to start with that whole train thing. When the border to Canada fully reopens someday, Western New York Congressman Brian Higgins says that we need to be poised to take advantage. And today he said he believes a key to all of that would be to expand passenger rail service between Buffalo, Niagara Falls, and Toronto. Channel 2's Dave McKinley gets us started today.
Though its fortunes are expected to improve post-pandemic, Amtrak lost $800 million in its last fiscal year concluding in September. Despite that, President Biden wants to sink $80 billion more into the subsidized passenger rail system, whose upstate New York corridor is only used by about 0.5% of all travelers. The roughly dozen passengers who boarded the Maple Leaf this afternoon at the $44 million Niagara Falls train station reflected a typical day even before the pandemic.
Those numbers certainly could be higher.
Congressman Brian Higgins says key to that once the pandemic passes and the border reopens will be to tackle long-standing issues that make train travel from here to Toronto slow and inconvenient, starting with resolving why it takes 2 hours to clear customs, to allow boarding in Niagara Falls, Ontario, and to improve tracks in southern Ontario.
And I think initiatives like this will make that number go higher.
But for what they're talking about, most of the power rests with the Canadian government.
So obviously it wouldn't make a lot of sense unless we get some binational agreement on infrastructure.
And when asked, he couldn't even say that they're on board with this, but indicated a belief that they could be persuaded.
So it has to work for both of us, but when we extol the virtues under normal times about our proximity to Ontario and, over 14 million people to our economy, there is a mutual benefit to the Ontario economy from Western New Yorkers going over there.
Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.